Yeah, morning everyone. So before I start, can anyone please confirm whether my voice is clear, whether the screen is visible or not, right? Yes. Yeah, can anyone please confirm whether my voice is clear, whether the screen
Yes, yes.
visible? Yes. Fine. So in the last class yesterday, I was saying like Python Software Foundation, it's a non-profit organization devoted to Python community. It was launched in the year 2001. The objective to foster the development of Python and it received Computer World Horizon Award, right? And the president, none other than the one who introduced Python, Guido van Rossum, the same personality, is the president for this PSF, Python Software Foundation. Headquarters. So the timing of this batch will be 7 o'clock, 7 to 7 a.m. IST. The same timing, right? Yes. Headquarters, Delaware, US. Official website, python.org. Python.org. Yes, Python versions, 1 version, 2 version, 3 version. That is what we are using currently. Python 3.11. This is the version that we are using currently, right? Python 3.11. Stable version of Python and what is the previous stable version? And I was just showing you the installation of Python, right? Yes. So if anyone has missed the session, right, you will be getting the video links, right? But you can just go through it. And by the end of the session, the links will be pasted in the short panel, the video links. Python execution modes. If anybody working within the Linux environment, if you are using Python within the Linux environment, right? Means no need of any separate installation for Linux. No need of any separate installation for Linux. Yeah. But if you have got older version of Linux in your system, then you will see older version of Python. But if you want the latest version to be installed in your Linux OS also, you can just go with this command. Sudo, everything we need to install from the root user, we say like sudo apt-get install Python 3.11, right? If this command is going to install Python within your Linux OS. Okay. Python execution modes. Python execution modes. Mainly we got two modes of execution. So generally they say like we have got 3 modes or 4 modes, right? But generally we got only 2 modes of execution. 2 modes. Like interactive mode, right? And second is like batch mode. Interactive mode and batch mode. Interactive mode means yes, we can see interactive mode within the command. So just open command prompt by typing cmd. So in the bottom search panel, I'm typing cmd and say enter. You will go to the command prompt, right? And you just type Python and you can interact with Python statement by statement here. The Python x as 10, y as 3, x value, what is y value, x plus y value, x minus 5. In this way, statement by statement, you can interact with Python. This feature you won't see in other programming languages, right? This feature we won't see in other programming languages. Okay, batch mode. So interactive mode and batch modes. So interactive mode, here we directly type Python statements. Here we directly type Python statements on the interpreter, and the user can easily interact We directly type Python statements on the interpreter and the user can easily interact with Python. Interact with Python statement by statement. Statement by statement. What is the advantage of using this interactive mode? Advantage. Advantage of interactive mode means as a beginner, as a learner, this interactive mode works better. You can type in, check each and every functionality of Python and check what result it is going to provide. And to test the functionalities of Python, and to learn Python, right? Yes. To test the functionalities of Python and to learn Python. Batch mode. Here we write set of statements or batch of statements. We write a set of statements within the editors or IDs. Within the editors or IDs. IDE, integrated development environments. In real time we use IDEs, right? Integrated development environments, right? Set up within the editors or IDs and save it by using .py extension. By using .py extension and later submitted to Python right? Yes. So what are the various editors and what are the various IDs where we can write the Python code? Various editors. Yes, various editors means like within the notepad you can write a .py file, we can create a .py file. Edit plus, within the edit plus, right, we can just write the code and execute. Within various editors, notepad, edit plus, yes, vi, nano, the first two are for Windows environment, the next two are for Linux environment. Means writing the Python code and writing this Python code, right? Notepad and edit plus. VI and nano, right? VI and nano, right? Yes. VI editor and nano editor. Okay. What are the various IDs? In real time, we use these IDs, right? Various IDs. PyCharm ID, right? PyCharm. So I'm going to show you on multiple IDs, right? Not one or two IDs. I'm going to show you how to run the code in different IDs. PyDev, Komodo, Spider, Eclipse, NetBeans, PyCharm, PyDev, Komodo, Spider, Eclipse, NetBeans, Jupyter notebook, right? Anaconda distribution. In that we'll get Jupyter notebook, Atom, and VS Code. PyCharm, among all these, PyCharm is the mostly used one, right? PyCharm is the mostly used. PyCharm is the mostly used ID, right? For writing this Python code, we use this integrated development environments like PyCharm, PyDev, Commodore, Spider, Eclipse, NetBeans, Jupyter. You may ask why these many IDs for Python? Why not one or two? So Python is used for different environments, and with different environments using Python, right? So different environments use different IDs. Like for data science environment, we use like Jupyter Notebook. Spider is preferred. For big data environment, Spider, Jupyter. For typical web applications, PyCharm is mostly preferred. Atom, VS Code are preferred, right? Yes. Yeah. So integrated development environments. I'm going to show you on all these IDs, right? How to run the code and execute. So tomorrow, if you are working in any environment, you will be having the idea about all these IDs, right? Yes. So mostly like PyCharm, Jupyter, Atom, VS Code, Spider. Okay, how to download them, how to install, and how to run the code, everything step by step, and I'll be discussing. Right now, developing the first Python application using a editor, right? Using a editor. Example notepad. Just open notepad and type the following Python statements. Yeah, I'm just opening a notepad and typing the following Python statements, right? Yes. Okay. As of now, we didn't discuss anything about Python, right? So Python, I'm just taking some values x as 10, y as 20. Just I want to perform some kind of arithmetic operations. X plus y, x minus y, x into y, x by y, right? Yes. Addition, subtraction, multiplication, right? Yes, division. Yeah, open notepad and type the following code in this notepad, right? I'm opening a separate notepad file. Yes, I'm just writing this code within this notepad. Yes, save it, file, save. Mm. Right? I'm just we have created a folder for this 7 a.m. batch, right? Python 7 a.m. batch. Within that, I'm just saving it as sample1 dot py extension, right? Yes. Save as sample1 dot py, and now submit this file. Submit this file, right? Submit this file to Python. Okay. Go to the command prompt, save as sample1 dot py, and now submit this file to Python, right? Now go to the command prompt, right? And just type Python and give the path of the file where exactly it is available. Python within the C drive. Python 7:30 a.m. Python 7:30 a.m. sample1 dot py. sample1.py, right? Yes. Say enter. 10 plus 20, 10 minus 20, 10 into 20, 10 by 20. You got the output, right? So to the Python, in which drive, in which folder, in what is the file name, the entire path we need to specify to Python, right? Yes. Yes, just copy and so this is how to write within the notepad. Save it as sample1.py and submit that file to Python within the C drive 7:30 a.m. Just this is the output, right? Yes. So here we are writing the code at one place. So here we are writing the code at one place, means within the notepad you are writing. Within the notepad you are writing and executing at the other place, right? And executing. So what you did, you just opened a notepad file, you have written some Python code, saved it as sample1.py, and you went to this command prompt and just given the path where the file is available to Python. But here we are writing the code at one place and executing at the other place, right? Like command prompt. But to write and execute, at the same place, we have IDLE, integrated development environment, right? Integrated development learning environment. Yes, which comes along with Python installation, using which we have ideally which comes along with Python installation, using which we can run with. Yes. So here the major, you are writing in notepad and executing at the command prompt, but writing at one place, executing at the other place. But to write and execute at the same place, we have IDLE, which comes along with Python installation, using which we can write and execute at the same place. We can write and execute at the same place. So now, how to open this IDLE, integrated development learning environment, how we can open it and how to execute the code, right? Yes, just I'm copying the same statements, the same. So whenever we install Python, go and check in the start programs, right? It's in the start programs where your Python is available. Check it. Python 3.11, the latest version of Python, right? Check it. What is the first thing you see in that? IDLE, right? IDLE. Click it. Yes, this is what Python shell gets opened in this way. First, you will get in interactive mode. You can interact with Python. Any valid Python statements you can type and interact, right? But I want to work with batch mode. Say file, new file. Okay, file, new file. So here you can write your code, and here itself we can say run option available. You can execute the code here itself. Here itself we can say file, save. Any name, right? Any name dot py, right? And here itself we can execute, writing here and executing here itself, right? Yes. 10 plus 20, 10 minus 20, 10 into 20, 10 by 20. Yes. Okay. Ten, 20. Okay. X plus y, x minus x into y, x by y. So here run a run module, you need to say run a run module. Okay. Now, so later, once we are done with little bit of technical content, I discuss about IDEs, right? How to work with IDEs, how to download and how to install and how to execute the code, right? So yes, next is coming to this fundamentals, right? Yes, Python data types. Okay, every organization, right? Use case has got, every organization use case has got data and operation. Data represented, right? Using data types or variables. Data represented using data types or variables. Operations represented using functions, right? Operations represented using functions. Every organization use case has got data and operations. Data represented using data types or variables. Operations represented using functions. For example, if I take the example of a bank, right? If I take the example of a bank, any organization, if I take the example of a bank consists of customers, employees. What customers has got? Data and operations, right? Customers has got data, operations. Now data like customer name, balance, 90,000, right? In this way. Branch, Hyderabad branch. So this is what data represented using data types or variables. Data types or variables. Operations means like a deposit operation, withdraw operation, transfer operations, etc. all are represented by using functions. Later we discuss about these functions, but yeah, data represented using data types or variables. Here also for employees also has got data and operations, right? Yes. Data like employee ID, employee name, some name Ajay, salary 80,000, right? So in this way, data represented using data types. Operations represented, okay, operations like calculating tax, calculating net sal, right? Yes. Okay, fine. Data represented using data types or variables, right? Customer data, customer functions. Employee data, employee functions, right? Yes. Okay. If you talk about all the programming languages, C or C++ or Java or Python, all the programming languages represents data using data types. On this data, we perform operations, right? We perform operations using functions. They represents data using data types. They represents operations using functions. Now, comparison between the C++, Java, C++, and Java comparison with Python, right? If you observe this Python supports dynamic data types, right? Python supports what? Dynamic data types. It supports dynamic data types. See, in other programming language like C++, Java, if you want to define like x equal to 10, compulsory I need to say index y equal to 4.5, float y, z equal to HELL, right? String z, right? X, Y, and Z, X10, Y 4.5, Z hello, right? So compulsory to define a variable. If you want to define some variables, compulsory we need to define these data types. Without these data types, these variables can't be created. So, but in Python, directly we can say X as 10, Y as 4.5, Z as string. No need to specify any data types here. Okay. There is a There is a function in Python, type function. Type of X is what type? Integer. Why it is integer? Because what value you are assigning to this? Integer variable, right? Integer value you are providing. Based on the value assigned, the variables are going to get created dynamically during runtime. What value you are assigning? Integer value. Integer variable gets created. Type of phi is what type? Yes, try to answer. Type of phi is what type? Float. Why it is float? Because you have assigned a float value. Type of z. Type of z is what type? String type. Why it is string? Because you assigned a string value to it. Based upon what value you are assigning, based on that, variables will be created, right? Yes. Okay. That's why we call it as dynamic data types. No need to define the variables, right? Based upon the value assigned, the variables gets created. So here I'm going to discuss 4 cases for your understanding, right? Yes. Case 1. If I'm defining a variable, okay, x equal to 10. Whenever I say x equal to 10 means what is happening internally, you need to understand. What happens internally? X equal to 10 means one object with value 10 gets created. It is going to have some address, memory location address. That address is given to x. What x is storing, don't say like x stores 10. What x stores, x, don't say like x storing 10. X stores the address. X. Okay. So what x storing means, don't say like x storing 10, x stores the address. Here 3 things you need to understand. So these things are happening internally, which you cannot be able to see, right? What happens internally when you define a variable? Print x means it goes to this address. Print x means goes to this address and prints whatever content present at that address, right? Yes. Prints the content at that address, at that address. What is the content at that address? 10, right? Yes. Prints the content at that address. Print id of x. If you want to print the address, right? Prints the address of x. Prints the data type of x. What type? Integer type. prints the content at that address, print ID of X, prints the address of X, type of X, prints the data type of enter type, right? Yes. These three things you need to understand. Printing the content, printing the address, printing the type of X. Okay. Now, case 2. Now, observe this case to X value 10 and Y value 20. Now, everyone try to answer, right? How many objects are getting created? I want the sessions to be interactive from here on, right? So you can unmute yourself and you can just give your responses through voice or through short panel, right? So X equal to 10, Y equal to 20. How many objects gets created internally? So for 10, one object, for 21 object, right? Two objects gets created. Yes. With some addresses 1030, this address given to X, 104090, this address is given to Y. Yes. Whenever I say print X, what is the X value it is going to print? What is print X? Everyone. Print X means goes to this address and prints the content to 10. Print ID of X. Type of X. Print Y. What is print Y? Prints the content. Prints the content at that address 20. Address
Sir, I
of
have a
yes. What is that?
yeah, sir. Yesterday we were going through some print statements, like you were explaining. This is an interpreter mode. Soon you give the value X equal to 10 and Y equal to 20. Once you assign it, right, then you just need to print. If you just type it in X, then it will give you the result, right? You don't have to explicitly mention a print statement in here. Well, yesterday we got the value. Why we have to give print now?
Observe. We have got two modes here. Execution modes. Interactive mode is there. Batch mode is there. If you're interacting with Python statement by statement, directly you can give it gives that. No need to give print statement. But in batch mode, compulsory, if you want to print anything, you need to print it. In batch mode.
Oh,
In interactive mode, it works. You can interact statement by statement. No need to say every time. It prints. But in batch mode, if you say print only, it will print. Understand? Interactive mode means statement by statement interaction. Batch mode means not statement by statement. You will write batch of statements or bunch of statements, and you will just save it as .py, and you will execute the .py. Understand?
okay. Sir, one more question. So the minute you have assigned a value 10 to X, right? It stores a memory allocation like 103070, something like that, right? So is this saving that memory location based on the variables X and Y, or is it going by the value? Meaning, my question is, if you have X and Y both has the same value 10.
Understood, right?
Okay.
So based on the values only. So observe this. As you ask that query, if you will get more clarity in case 3. Type of X is integer. So these objects are created based on the values, not on the variables. Understood here? Two different variables, x, y, with two different values, then two different objects with two different addresses. Now observe this case 3. Observe this case 3. X value is 10, as you said, y value is also 10. How many objects created here? Everyone. How many objects gets created? X value 10, y value also 10. Two objects or one object? Here only one object gets created. Object with value 10 with some address. The address is given to x. Y equal to 10 means one more object with value 10 won't be created. The same address will be given to y. If already, whenever you want y equal to 10, right, it will check whether any object with value 10 is already available. If available, the same address will be given. If not available, it will create a new object. X is 10, y is 10, z value 10. Three different objects with value 10 won't be created. As the values are same, only one object, the address only will be given to x, y, and z. Okay, fine. X, Y, and Z, they are sharing the same content in the address. X, Y, and Z, they are sharing the same content in the addresses, right? Yes. Okay. If X value 10, Y value 20, Z value 30, then how many objects? If X is 10, Y is 20, Z is 30, three different values. In such case, three different objects gets created with three different addresses. But here the values are same, only one object, only one address. Right, just observe this print x. They are sharing the same content, right? Print x equal to print y equal to print z. One zero 3070. Yes. Print id of x, id of y, print id of z. Mhm. 103070. Type also, type of x, type of y, type of z will be what type? Int type, right? Yes. So this is case 3. If the values are same, only one object, only one address. Observe this case 4. I'll show all these cases practically, right? In the tomorrow session. Now previously x value 10, x value only here also, x value 20. How many objects here? X equal to 10, x equal to 20. For 10, one object with some address. The address is given to x. For 20, also one object 20 with some address. Oh. If I say print x, what is the x value it is going to print? 10 or 20? Yes, everyone. 10 or 20. Print x means what is the x value it is going to print?
Whatever the latest one you took.
Yes, whatever the latest value that will be printed. Print ID of x means the latest 104090. That is fine. But is there any possibility of printing this previous object value 10? What happens to the previous object? What happens to the previous object? Okay. To know what happens to the previous object, there is a small concept called garbage collector. Okay, to make you understand, right, this garbage collector. As of now, I'll just give overview about garbage collector, but later, as part of our course, I'll be discussing in brief about it. So, in a simple way, I'll just discuss this garbage collector. Garbage collector removes unused or unreferred objects. Removes unused or unreferred objects from the memory. Observe here, removes unused or unreferred objects from the memory. What do you mean by unused or unreferred objects? Objects whose reference count becomes 0. Object whose reference count becomes 0. Those objects we call as unused or unreferred. Then these objects are immediately removed. Objects whose reference count becomes 0, then these objects are immediately removed by the garbage collector automatically. These objects we call it as unused or unreferred. You may ask, what is this reference count? How it becomes 0? First, what is reference count? You check. Reference count. Number of variables pointing to an object. Number of variables pointing to an object. Or number of variables storing address of an object. Storing address of a object. To make you understand these things, right, I'll just take this. How many variables here? 3, x, y, z. How many variables are pointing to this object? 10. How many variables are pointing to this object? 10. 3, right? So reference count will be 3. Reference count will be 3. 3 variables pointing to this object. 3 variables are storing the address of this object 10. Okay, reference count is three variables pointing or three variables storing address of that object. Slowly see here y value is 10 here. Now I'll say how this reference count becomes 0. It is 3 now. How it becomes 0. Y value 10. Now I'll modify the y value to 20. Means a new object created with value 20 with some address. The address is given to y. Now y is pointing to the new object to 20. Y is not pointing to this object to 10. Now reference count of this previous object becomes what? 2, right? Only two variables x and z only pointing. Now slowly I modified the z value also to 30. Okay. Reference count is 2. Now z equal to 30 means one more object with some address. The address is given to z. Now z is pointing to the new object. Z is not pointing to this. Z is pointing to a new object. Now our reference count becomes 1. Now slowly you will modify the x value also to 50. So if you're modifying this also, modifying the reference count becomes 0. Previously, three variables were pointing, reference count was 3. Now the three variables are pointing to three different new objects. Now the reference count becomes 0. Now this object immediately removed by the garbage collector. This object is removed by the garbage collector. Reference count became 0, right? Reference count becomes 0. Then garbage collector immediately removes the object from the memory. Understood this, right? What is reference count? What is garbage collector? How object is removed? Now coming back to this fourth case, right? Based on the discussion we had. Yes. Forget about x equal to 20. For x equal to 10, what is the reference count of this object to 10? 1. Only one variable x is pointing. But later I have modified that x value to 20. Now this is pointing to the new address. Now x is not pointing to this. X is pointing to the new object. Reference count becomes 0. Then immediately this object gets removed. I was just asking you a query, right? Always it is printing x value 20. Is there any chance of printing 10? No, it gets removed when reference count becomes 0, when our object. Okay. Any queries in these 4 cases, anyone? Right? I will show you all these 4 cases practically in the tomorrow session, followed by other things, right? Any queries? Yes. As part of today's session, we'll continue tomorrow, right? Fine. So tomorrow also everyone can attend the session, and tomorrow also we can attend same time using the same link. But mostly from day after tomorrow, the link is going to change, right? Yes. So tomorrow you can attend. I'll be showing you these things practically and many other things, right? Other fundamentals, right? Okay. Fine. So you can just go to the course content, right? Yes. So everything we have discussed in brief, right? Okay. So I'm stopping here for today. Meet you tomorrow, same time. Thank you all for your time. Thank you.